Hey, Gavin, mate. How you doing, man? Well, my grandma, she passed away. I've been evicted by my landlord. My cat's ruptured his ACL. And my wife's left me and taken the kids. Wow, fucking Jesus. You get to see the kids at all, or? Nah, no, never again in my life. Ah, okay, wow. Yeah. Fairs, all that's, yeah, innit. All I've really got is my job now. Okay, well, look, listen. We're licensed referees and, oh, for God's sake, the subboard's out of charge. Don't worry, I've got an idea.
Что с кем, бой? Я-то...
I don't stretch the cable too far, it might... Well, look, listen, you might have blown out the entire stadium and now you don't have a job either. But at least you still got your cat even without its ACL. Yeah, no, the cat's dead. Jesus, you're having a bad week. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This, of course, the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. What's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, it's been A-level results day in the UK, a day that went pretty horribly for me back in year 12. I was trying to explain to clearing why I should get into university based on away goals.
As no, I promise, like, and it's been a weird these past few months, knowing.
And look, I hope people got what they wanted. If not, and you're going to a different university, don't worry, you're chilling realistically. If you didn't get in at all, there's other routes to the job that you want to do, don't stress. If you're at uni in Wolverhampton, well then you're fucked. Now though, it's time to take a look at the football news. And this unk is about to deliver it to you. Onto the headlines and, oh, for goodness sake. Yeah, it's time for Vietnamese under-23 indoor volleyball this week. They're how scintillatingly specific. In the International Dinner Dish Invitational, once known as the Charity Shield, it was Liverpool who were doing charity work in a penalty shootout. After an incredible 24-25, I was screaming Mo Salah to the moon this season. Unfortunately, he took that sentiment a little bit too literally.
But deliver us.
That penalty shootout loss saw Crystal Palace victorious and taking home a second piece of silverware for Ollie Glasner, as well as beautiful scenes for the club. Phase 1 Glasner has achieved the same amount as Phase 12.5 Mikel Arteta. Just take that one in. This was a shield for the community, guys, despite my clinical depression. This, of course, comes after Palace's incredible FA Cup triumph versus Manchester City, and they're still in dreamland, to be fair to them. It was an unreal start for the Premier League champions, though. New signings Florian Wirtz and Ugo Ekitike linking up before people had even got the chance to type 007.
Sharp back and blow your fucking head off, twat!
Even more impressive for Hugo to overcome his fear of eagles like this, so I'm sure the Frenchman was left looking at the kit man absolutely fuming after he spelt his name backwards on his shirt for the first game of the season. Palace would then equalise through Jean-Philippe Nazario, only for Jeremy Frimpong to restore Liverpool's lead with an accidental strike from across. Scoring from there,
Jeremy, that's insane.
this goal also poetically coming on exactly the 20th second of the 20th minute of the game, almost written in the stars after the tragic loss of Liverpool's number 20, Diogo Jota. TNT Sports were conducting a hate watch on Florian Wirtz with these stats appearing in the first half. The only problem is he's absolutely class. I don't care what anyone says, he was sick in this game and we actually played some unbelievable football. Unfortunately, however, combined with some kamikazeism. Fuck's sake, not again. Milos Kerkez was impregnated halfway through this one. Wait, why is Trent Alexander-Arnold suddenly wanting to rejoin the club? Meanwhile, Alexis McAllister thought it'd be a good idea to conduct bicycle kicks on the halfway line. All of this leading for a chance for Crystal Palace to equalise, and they did so through Ismail Assar. Level at full time, it would go to penalties, where Dean Henderson would save Alexis McAllister's and take a bow in front of Palace's supporters. Doing this after the first penalty is very, very brave behaviour. There were misses from McAllister, then from Harvey Elliott, and as for Mo Salah, yeah, he was taking the piss a little bit, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Nothing beats a jetty.
This man decides to just yam one over the bar like 3 times a season when he's stepping up for a spot kick. Dean Henderson's bottle that had advice for Liverpool's takers was at least pretty accurate, and with that, Crystal Palace were Community Shield winners, sparked some wholesome celebrations with former Palace defender Joel Ward, an icon of the club who was there for absolutely ages. He was doing punditry with TNT Sports. It now means that Thierry, number 14, and Ketty has won 2 trophies since leaving Arsenal, and delirium for Palace supporters. That was until it was confirmed they were relegated to the Conference League in probably the earliest instance of the Community Shield curse we've ever seen. Alexander Isak was devastated meanwhile, finding out the club he wants to go to is pretty shit as well.
There might not be any hope for me again.
sort of kind of thing.
The one man it looks like we could be signing is Palace defender Mark Gahey. Him and Virgil van Dijk were scandalously caught flirting between each other at full time, and he'll be bringing the Community Shield into our training ground to flex it in front of his new teammates when he arrives for his first training session. Elsewhere, and we had the Continental Community Shield, the wee Worthington Cup, and of all things, Spurs were in it.
Oh, the game's got it.
But it's okay, lads, because the Europa League winners, yeah, they bottled it anyway.
But Tottenham, it's the history of the Tottenham.
Spurs had been 2 goals to the good versus Champions League winners Paris Saint-Germain, only to throw it away in the 94th minute and be on the wrong end of another comeback in the penalty shootout. Clearly, Thomas Frank was just paying tribute to the club's history in his first proper game in charge. The world would have been a scary place if Tottenham had won 2 trophies in 3 months. Thankfully, crisis averted, ladies and gentlemen. A first hate watch of the season is a firm success. A 2-0 bottle in normal time and then a 2-0 bottle in the penalty shootout is kind of crazy. But the mad thing is, to be honest with you, Spurs actually had these lot on French toast by the hour mark. Richarlison's job of distracting Paris Saint-Germain's defenders as Mohamed Kudus ran the show was working well, but things started to change with 20 minutes to go as Spurs went more defensive and PSG brought on Korean youngster Kang-in Lee, something I'm sure that confused Rodrigo Bentancur, baffled as he genuinely thought Heung-min Son was coming off the bench despite leaving the club.
I can't believe it. Someone said you was dead.
Let's be real, this was just an opportunity for Thomas Frank to throw the game after he realised that winning trophies actually got their last manager sacked.
It's killing the game, man.
And after Kang-in Lee's beautiful strike and a 94th minute equaliser from Gonçalo Ramos, we were into a shootout where Vitinha, yeah listen, that hop, skip and then putting it wide, we got to dock his pay for that one. PSG ultras were ready to sentence him to the death penalty. Thankfully for him, it was Matthijs Tel that was taking it.
Are you fucking laughing, lad?
After Mickey van der Ven had his penalty saved, Matthijs Tel would then stutter and miss, but it does not in any way excuse the racist abuse he then suffered over on his Instagram in the aftermath. I loved a strong statement from Tottenham in response. There was also a statement from UEFA, a message before kickoff here. 2 banners laid out on the pitch as the 2 sides walked out. It read, "Stop the killing of children" and "Stop the killing of civilians." UEFA conveniently leaving out who's actually been doing that killing. Well, according to UNICEF, Israel have caused the most compared to the 700 that have died in Ukraine. So realistically, UEFA, if we're talking action, banned them from UEFA like you banned Russia. This is a tough result for Spurs, summarised by Kevin Danzo, who said it was a tough one to swallow. Jed Spence replying with pause. Honestly, I hear him. I can't even lie. But what I will say is I think Spurs should take some solace in the fact that they actually went toe-to-toe and with a better team, in my opinion, for 70 minutes here against the side that brushed everyone about in the Champions League last campaign. They definitely looked better than they did last year. Although, let's be honest, probably impossible not to. But speaking of PSG, and there's been the announcement that Gianluigi Donnarumma, the lamppost of an Italian goalkeeper, will be leaving the club. This comes after a decision from Luis Enrique that he just didn't fit in with the squad anymore. Mostly, predominantly, down to style and the fact that Luis likes to build up from the back. It's not exactly one of Gianluigi's strong points, but it is a crazy switch-up given the Champions League run that Gianluigi had last season. Part of the reason, really, why PSG even made it to the latter stages was some of the performances that he put in against the likes of Arsenal. New goalkeeper Chevalier could have probably done better with the second goal against Spurs, and I'm sure Gianluigi was watching on from home, smug, sitting down on his sofa. The actual statement from Gianluigi is a little bit unprofessional, I'm not gonna lie to you. Meanwhile, PSG's owners will have a surprise waiting for them when they open up his goodbye gift. At the moment, it looks like he may well be going to Manchester City. It means that James Trafford could immediately be heading out of the first team door. Pep really said he did not rate the former Burnley goalkeeper 6 minutes into his first training session.
You don't have future here. You can never make it.
I fear Trafford is very quickly realising that he's not Edison, but is instead Carson. Meanwhile, look, listen, this is a signing that makes no sense, by the way. Imagine Gianluigi Donnarumma trying to play out from the back in a Pep Guardiola system. He may well be heading into Manchester, but one man leaving is Jack Grealish, who joins Everton on loan. The most crucial thing from this signing, the way this man holds his pen.
What is he doing?
Bro cannot write, let's be 100% honest, so we shouldn't really be surprised. The former £100 million man is now realistically out of favour at Man City and will be joining the Toffees, hoping to reclaim some of the form that got him that move at Aston Villa in the first place. Let's be honest, he is a Man City flop, you know, and he might be able to turn it around with this loan spell, you never know. And whilst I don't think he's been bad for Man City necessarily, or that he's a bad player, a £100 million player ending up on loan at Everton is kind of crazy. Either way, he takes the number 18 shirt, a shirt that is rich in history as far as Everton are concerned. The likes of Morgan Schneiderlin, Niels Nkunku, Gylfi Sigurd. You know what? Let's just wrap it up. That's actually never. He's actually looking to follow in the footsteps of another Everton number 18 of the past in the form of Paul Gascoigne. Not in terms of his football, more in terms of his drinking, I would say. The guy's on a lot of money though at Man City. I don't know how Everton are affording this. Their negotiations for his wage contract contribution will have been lowballed to Man City, to say the least.
£20 a piece, yeah. All right, cool. So I'd like to make you an offer, £1.50.
Meanwhile, David Moyes will be left to try and convince the Englishman that his goal bonuses won't just be coming in the form of Jaeger bombs.
I would have given you the money.
You're not giving me shit.
I would have given you the money.
You're lying.
David Moyes signing like a vodka man just does feel right, though, doesn't it? Shout out to him, though. There's a statement that he made is, honestly, as you can see here, in perfect Spanish. When the fuck did the geezer learn Spanish? He's barely even finished learning English yet. Him trying to find Liverpool on a map is going to be something to behold. All I know is, though, we're about to hear a fire rendition of the Grealish song inside the Hill Dickinson Arena.
Jack Grealish. His name was Jack. He's my bubba. Oh, he's my boo. Oh, he's my bubba.
That bad, lad. I'm lighting the city up now, hoping to get kicked out.
Genuinely, though, I really hope this works. I would love to see, like, Jack Grealish, modern-day Barclaysman balling out alongside Njai. Not too much, though, because it's Everton, innit? And I don't want to see Everton do well. But occasionally, against sides that we need them to be. That's going on in the northwest, but there's drama going on in the northeast, as Alexander Isak is allegedly refusing to play for Newcastle this season.
You fucking weapon.
This, of course, after Newcastle refused to accept bids from Liverpool, and after the Swede announced his intention to leave the club. He's now decided if he doesn't get a big money move, he will never play for Newcastle again regardless. And it's fair to say the fans have turned on him, some burning their Isak shirts in the street, and it's all spilling over into Alexander's personal life too. He's living with an Italian friend at the moment. I have a feeling I know who this Italian man might be. The reality is, lads, yeah, look, we're being nice, isn't it? Liverpool, we're offering to give a homeless man a place to stay at the moment. Moving house for a transfer saga is absolutely crazy work, by the way. I've never even heard this happening before. He's gonna run away from home like a kid that's been denied Cocoa Pops in the morning. Breaking news, Newcastle announced new signing up front in the form of Newcastle women's striker Shania Hales. Yeah, bro, listen, everyone was turning them down in it. They had to, like, hire from within. But after missing the barbecue and apparent ice creams last week, I'm sure we'll see Alexander back in the starting 11 and grovelling once he realises he's missing out on Soleros with the rest of the squad. In Saudi Arabia now, and Darwin Núñez scored his first goal for Al Hilal in a 6-0 friendly. He's officially been announced as an Al Hilal player, and I'm kind of emotional about him leaving. At the end of the day, he was a fool, but he did provide us a lot of incredible moments, despite also providing us a lot of heart attacks. At the end of the day, look, he struck joy into the hearts of defenders. He made the impossible probable, really. And I just know that that man is trying to integrate himself into Saudi Arabian culture without having any understanding of what's going on around him.
May God strike me down, inshallah. She's the one. Are you Muslim? Nah. But but I do like.
Barcelona faced off against FC Como in a pre-season match this week. Marcus Rashford grabbed a really impressive assist actually in this one. Honestly, above all else, showing a lot of desire to make this happen. A very hard-working, high-work ethic assist this one. Only to then round the goalkeeper at another point in the game and put the ball wide. It didn't really matter though. A 5-0 win here in the Joan Gamper Trophy in a game actually that Lamine Yamal scored in and did the Marcus Rashford celebration. Elsewhere in Barca's squad, and Ronald Araujo just absolutely loves Prime.
Yeah, I'm the one that knows Victoria's Secret.
Lamine Yamal and Rafinha couldn't stop laughing as they watched Jules Koundé stare into space. And there wasn't much laughing amongst the Barca players when they were watching Marc-Andre ter Stegen give a speech. Frenkie de Jong was fuming at the fact that he's even still there. Meanwhile, Dani Olmo was left confused when ter Stegen called himself a goalkeeper on the mic. Real Madrid were also involved in pre-season shenanigans, facing off against Austrian side WSG Tirol and winning 4-0. What kind of sacred sacrifice did Tirol produce to get this friendly? How are they here? Why are you there? Kylian Mbappe scored his first goal in his new number 10 shirt. We also saw a pitch invader get absolutely clamped, but Mbappe was still willing to get a selfie. The stewards that were supposed to stop this pitch invader before he actually got to the pitch were looking for sympathy afterwards.
What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to chase after them?
Meanwhile, there'll be absolutely no sympathy for one man this week, and that was one man who got absolutely clamped by Tyrone Mings. Mason Greenwood lashed out at Amadou Onana during a friendly between Marseille and Aston Villa, and Captain Tyrone Mings wasn't having any of it, choking him out and basically ripping his shirt off him. I was watching on, sat at my TV set, hoping that he'd get another elbow in.
Rastafari, lick him up, Rastaf.
Lick him up!
It's weird, actually. It seems like Mason Greenwood's significantly less on fighting when it's not with his own girlfriend. Now, over at Manchester United, and Alejandro Garnacho has got an ultimatum for United fans. He either leaves or stays at the club and doesn't play. Not gonna lie, Alejandro, that sounded like a win-win situation to United fans. Red Devil supporters will be gassed realising that whatever the situation, they don't have to watch this Argentinian man. He's taking the overall reaction pretty badly, going into modelling on United's website. And if he's sat on the bench all season, well, that's not great either. He'll be tucking into a blue raspberry elf bar as United goes 6-0 down to Arsenal on the opening game of the season. Andre Onana is returning to full fitness after a spell out on the sidelines. As you can see from this picture, he's looking as Andre Onana as ever. Manchester United physios confirm they're disappointed with how quickly he's returned to action. Those physios will be trying to injure him again as soon as he steps out for game week 1. If United don't invest in a new goalkeeper, fam, their choices being him or Bayindir to start, bro, it's two cheeks of the same arse.
It's like having a choice of two blokes and nick your wife.
At Arsenal, Declan Rice isn't bothered by all that on-the-pitch stuff. He's instead looking for a new career. It's like this man's born to give us content, I swear. Not sure his motivational speech is going to have too much of a positive impact, though, when Arsenal finish second in the league again this season.
Do you want me to rap anyone? Lift the mood a bit.
No, we don't.
The Premier League tweeted there were 3 days to go back on Tuesday with a picture of Chelsea and genuinely using Arsenal for 2. The streets were absolutely begging and India delivered. Someone replied saying, I love curry. Fam, what the fuck is even? And it's India at the back post. Manchester United exile Jadon Sancho could be on the verge of a move to Turkey. Besiktas supporters flooding into his Instagram comments to convince him to join. Dan Burn is so frustrated by Newcastle's transfer window, he's taking up a new sport. I don't think he should take that one up either, to be honest with you. In big boy Brexit boss news, Alan Pardew, Tony Pulis and Big Sam went on holiday together, which I need a night out with them. That would actually be incredible. At Chelsea, and Joao Pedro scored once again in pre-season to the dismay of fellow striker in competition for a starting 11 spot, Liam Delap. And a massive shout out to Chelsea's players, actually, who decided to prepare an equal share of their Club World Cup bonuses and dedicated it, donating it to Diogo Jota's family, which I think is a beautiful touch. Fair play to the players and to the club for that one. Massive respect. Now in Spain, and a controversial ruling has gone through that allows Villarreal and Barcelona to play their La Liga games in America. And it, of course, has had a pretty negative set of feedback from Barcelona, Villarreal supporters, and the general world of football. Real Madrid even put out a statement turning it down. Bro, you ain't even involved. Like, you're not involved in the fixture. You can't turn it down. But they have got a point. Honestly, I agree. You're taking games that should be dedicated to a fan base, to a community back in Spain, right? Wherever you... I mean, Villarreal represent a tiny area in Spain. I think it's like basically some small town in the middle of Spain, yeah? They've now had their chance of going to see their club play against Barcelona taken away from them for what? What American is gonna decide to support Villarreal? Americans, if you do get that game, prepared to be entertained by Barcelona's mascot. Arda Güler, he's a simple man. He sees a cat trying to cross the street in a TikTok game and he tries to help. At least he's keeping himself entertained whilst he sits on the bench this season. Meanwhile, Sevilla, they're hoping they're drawn against Ibiza in the Copa del Rey so they can get out on the lash and meet the Ibiza final boss. Elsewhere at Borussia Dortmund, and Mats Hummels has re-signed for the club. These lot sign him every year. Can we please get some sort of... This may be money laundering. He's back just to retire again, basically. He had like a one final hurrah, make an appearance, and then hanging up his boots once again. For real though, a feel-good moment really for a man who's dedicated a lot to the club, and he got an unreal reception from Dortmund supporters. Alphonso Davies has caught the eye of a lot of football supporters over on Twitter due to the amount of leg mass that he's lost after his ACL surgery. It is absolutely crazy, the actual direct comparison here. This man's going to be built like a wobbly table for the first 2 months of the season. In Italy, Dusan Vlahovic has genuinely brought out his best strike of the calendar year so far. Meanwhile, Paris Saint-Germain in France have confirmed the capture of Ukrainian centre-back Ilya Zabarny, a 22-year-old who was very impressive, of course, for Bournemouth last season in the Prem. He joins and has followed all of his new PSG teammates, apart from Russian goalkeeper and PSG backup Matvey Stefanov. Zero chemistry on FIFA, to be fair, between them. I feel like the scenes are going to be very aggressive when they catch each other in the dressing room. room. Now though, time for your goals of the week. We've got yet more bangers for you. We start off in the Championship, which arrived dramatically this week with the first set of fixtures that had drama all over the place. They also featured this long-range halfway line strike from Gustavo Armour for Sheffield United against Birmingham. In fairness, I don't think the goal should have stood because the ball hit the referee, but either way, an unbelievable finish. We then head over to Croatia and at Rijeka, where Portuguese midfielder Thiago Dantas unleashed this screamer right into the top corner in a European qualifier. Speaking of which, and we stay on the European theme because Hibs, they were in a Europa Conference League qualifier against Partizan Belgrade. Level aggregate with the ball bouncing around, Kieran Bowie volleys a looping effort right over the goalkeeper and into the top corner off the woodwork. The sort of goal that should have you qualify for Europe immediately. And the kid followed me on Twitter as well, so that's extra bonus points, Kieran.
Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
El equipo de Medina.
And that concludes The Beautiful Game.
Now, over in Cameroon, and a new signing has been made. Andre Ngono at the age of 17. 17 in dog years, maybe, bro, but I'm not having this. 17 BC is when he originated.
You're 17.
Yeah, just look older.
There's looking older, and then there's that.
We can't keep getting away with this, okay? This man was 17 when he bought his first house. That is Specs Gonzalez, bro. He's young in the sense that he's Ashley Young, who's 40. There was some incredible improvisation from Gilmar Martinez this week. Going for a bicycle kick, he didn't really make it work, but on the second attempt, whilst lying on the ground, managed to pull out the acrobatics anyway to put it into the top corner. Really great goal from the Venezuelan. Another man enjoying himself in South America is Neymar, who is twisting and turning defenders inside out, even ones that have a reputation for never getting dribble past. Yeah, you can collect your knees again down at the touchline. That's crazy. There was wholesome scenes at Minnesota United, where Tommy Schweinitz, a kid who got an opportunity through a Make-A-Wish campaign to score for his beloved Minnesota United. He has one leg, plays on crutches, and scored in a delightful little moment, really, with some of his heroes. I've got to say, though, it was offside. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap that one up. Next up, and you've heard of a player getting locked up before, right? Well, this attacker, he's taken it very, very literally. Locking a defender out of the ground so that he can't get back in again. I told you about Kyle Hudlin, the 6'9" striker who spent most of his career in England, signing for a side over in Vietnam. Well, he scored his first goal this week, and unsurprisingly, it was from a header in a league and in a country where the average height is 5'6". Might be a bit of an aerial mismatch, this one. In Uganda now, and in the Chan Championship for players based in Africa, what about this for a no-step penalty from Alan Okello, catching everyone off guard? At Rangers, and I know their new loan signing Mikey Moore is young, but -1 years old is taking the piss. Meanwhile, Cyril Dessers here, playing for Rangers, has managed to do his knee in whilst trying to dive. Now listen, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. At Botafogo now, in Brazil, and they're going for the jugular. No, not by scoring lots of goals through this celebration and this player getting strangled. Elsewhere in Brazil, and there was this absolutely preposterous 90-degree penalty run-up coming from the right-hand side and actually managing to score, in fairness. Shout out to Djurgården's Japanese star, Keita Kusugi, a 19-year-old who played 90 minutes in a derby match against AIK, and he decided to clean the dugouts all by himself after a game. How sweet is that? In Russia now, a fourth-tier goalkeeper playing for a side called Nosta, the name of Nikolai Nelyubov, has accidentally scored an absolute slapper, grabbing the ball and smacking it all the way from his own penalty area. The direction, the wind, the bounce loops it over the opponent goalkeeper, and he puts himself on the score sheet. Staying in Russia now, and Kirill Mogul, who plays for a side called Dynamo Barnaul, has spent 4 months trying to end a dry goal scoring spell. He did so in his excitement, decided to perform a backflip as the celebration, only to get himself injured. Next up though, some more eccentricity, this time with some fucking advanced rainbow flick ×2 against your mates. Yeah, nah, they've both got to retire forever, man. That's actually crazy. In Argentina, Racing Club have a little bit of a problem. They signed Marcos Rojo, the former Manchester United defender, except the problem is Rojo translates to red in Spanish. That's the nickname of their sworn enemies and rivals Independiente, so they weren't actually able to use his surname during the course of any of the announcements or on the back of his shirt. This next picture probably needs some kind of warning on it. Flying doggy in the middle of a game is absolutely insane. But even more mad, the hair combination of one Tenton Yene and has a ginger half of his beard as well as one strip of hair down the back of his head. Yeah, nah, listen, we need a little... No. Closer to home, and Birmingham and Ipswich opened up the new championship season, and it was a dramatic affair. A late penalty rescuing a point for Ipswich, Connor Chaplin smacking the ball into the Birmingham crowd, which sparked a scrap, and one Birmingham fan trying to get in amongst it. Jack Robinson at Sheffield United, it's fair to say, wasn't too pleased with the refereeing and the linesman around him. Meanwhile, at Hull, Cody Drame might want to change his vocabulary just a little bit, saying, you know what I mean, about 47 times in 20 seconds.
To Wrexham, you know what I mean, unbelievable, you know what I mean, we heard them, you know what I mean, we felt them, you know what I mean.
At least their Instagram admin saw the funny side of it, posting a couple of days later. Southampton's famous dancing fan is back once again, and I assume on even more ketamine than ever. We've got a referee who may well have taken ketamine before a game, deciding to give a free kick for a goalkeeper handling the ball outside of his own box. At Rochdale, they made a 1-minute substitution in the second round of the Carabao Cup versus Burnley. They needed 100 Ken, bro. I've seen this script before on FIFA. Shout out to Doncaster Rovers, who made 11 changes and then went and beat Championship Middlesbrough 4-0 away from home. Leyton Orient saw a domestic happening between a couple in the stands. Man, I just want to play career mode, fam. Why do I have to be here listening to this? The story of Richard Kone is absolutely incredible. I've told you about him before. He played in the Homeless World Cup in England, then signed for a side in the 9th tier of English football. He's risen all the way through the ranks, playing for Wycombe Wanderers, and has now got a move to Championship side QPR. His dad Traffic is absolutely gassed about it all. Meanwhile, for a second week in a row, Bromley need a match official again from the stands because they've run out or someone's got injured. What are these Bromley players doing to linesmen this season? The town with the longest name in the world, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but from Wales, the football club of the area have secured their safety in terms of finances with a new sponsor in the form of MasterCard. Elsewhere now, and don't miss a pen in this shootout, honestly, because you will get, like, gunned down by somebody. In Saudi Arabia's 3rd division, and one owner travelled all the way to France and a coffee shop in Paris to convince a player to sign. He then made it happen and announced it on his Snapchat from the coffee shop. In Croatia, and away days there are getting pretty violent. 5 red cards for the 5 away teams. And speaking of away days, friend of the channel Ellis managed to make it onto Lithuanian news and TV from being the only fan to turn up for a lower league game there. Kairat of Kazakhstan are doing something absolutely incredible. They are at least qualifying for the Europa League after their run of qualifying games. They are miles away. Their club is well, it's not in Europe, realistically. Dubai is closer to the centre of Europe than this gap is. Well, wholesome scenes for Bashley's physio for his initiation on the team bus. In Luxembourg, and US Hostet could probably do with some new groundsmen given what's going on here. Meanwhile, Sofian Amrabat has been absolutely rinsed here in Turkey in some downright disrespectful dribbling. Now that it's time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now, this is a segment of the show where I bring to the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And look, listen, the weather around the world at the moment is absolutely beautiful, okay? It's hot, it's sunny. If you're a goalkeeper standing around, you know, you need a little bit of refreshment. You need a little bit of hydration, which is why this goalkeeper has brought us absolute peak Sunday League football by grabbing himself a beer whilst he's got absolutely nothing to do. Normalise this in professional football, man. Just get the bevs in if there's nothing going on. On to the weird stuff, though, now. We actually stay along the lines of lower league football in England, but we head to Wakefield, as they reported their normal goalkeeper Billy Mole wouldn't be starting anymore. A change had been made. This was all very casual, given what actually happened was that he got arrested before kickoff. I don't know how Mole here is going to dig his way out of this one. At Ystad's in Sweden, and there's a very odd reason as to why they're not getting paid. They are owed solidarity money for producing Hugo Larsson. He's just left Malmo in Sweden, and the reason they've not been paid yet is because FIFA put the wrong name down when actually documenting the transfer in the first place. Someone run them their money. And finally, we head to the tiny island of Guernsey. Their football club, who actually do play in the English Pyramid, were returning to the FA Cup for the first time in 8 years. This is a massive moment for the club. It's great to see them back, only they've been kicked out immediately. The reason? They fielded an ineligible player in their very first game in the FA Cup qualifiers. Lads, you had one job. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.